Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you about Pokemon TCG Pocket, and I'm super sorry this is a day late. I wanted to get it up yesterday, but I'm traveling. Right now I'm in Indonesia for the Jakarta event, so sorry, bear with me. But I have 10 things to tell you about TCG Pocket. And then if you're watching this early, on Monday, September 23rd, there will be an hour-plus long podcast with even more stuff to talk about. But I just wanted to make a short, here are 10 things that you should know about TCG Pocket before it releases. That's what we're going to do today. Before we get to number one, I do have to just disclose that the Pokemon Company International did pay for my flight, and they did pay for my hotel going out to New York. They did not require me to do a video or to promote this, or I didn't have to do anything. I just showed up, they had cookies, they had me play the game, and I really liked it. So here are 10 things that you should know before it drops on October 30th is when it comes out. So number one, those code cards that come in TCG packs, they don't work for the game. So there's your number one. Let's start off with a disappointment, I guess. So if you've been saving those code cards, Pokemon TCG Pocket doesn't accept them at all. Now, keep in mind that those code cards are not even in every single booster pack. If you buy Korean booster packs or you buy Japanese booster packs, there are no code cards at all. I don't want to say that that's an American product, but that is not I think it's better to say it's not a worldwide thing that the code cards come in, because PTCG Live is not a worldwide game like Pocket is presented as a worldwide game. So code cards don't work. You can just use them for TCG Live at this point. They used to work for PTCGO, but PTCGO closed down for PTCG Live, and Pocket is completely different. Also, this game is being made by DeNA, who makes Pokemon Masters EX, and I don't know if this is a coincidence, but neither of these games have an area for you to even put a code in. Maybe it can be updated in the future, but there is no redemption spot at all in either game for any sort of code as of today. Number two, number one was probably the most frequently asked thing I got, just leading since the game has been announced, is do I think the code cards are going to work? But number two, I think is the second most frequently asked thing, was how much does this game cost? Now, of course, this is a free-to-play game, and you don't have to spend any money. You get 2 booster packs a day for free. That's not the number two. The number two, even though you do get 2, the number two is the price of a pack. I did the math. The price of a pack is about $1.20 USD if you want to pay to open a pack, if you don't want to wait ultimately. So your packs, you can only hold, I believe, 2 at a time. So let's say you waited 72 hours. You're not going to get 6. You can come back to the game every 12 hours to open a pack. But at a certain point, after the 2, it's not going to collect you any more packs. So it does require you to log in and check for that timer to then start ticking. If you want to avoid that entire timer, and let's say you wanted to open 10 packs right away by going to the store and buying gold. Hold on, I got the gold prices here. 99 cents is 5 gold. $10 is 50 gold plus a bonus 7 gold, and $100 is 500 gold plus 190 bonus gold. So for that $9.99, that's 57 gold, but you would need 60 gold to open 10 booster packs. So ultimately, because you're getting bonus gold, it kind of comes out to $1, but you have to spend a little bit more than that. So that's why I say it's about $1.20 to open a booster pack. So if you want to open 10, you have to buy the 10, plus you have to have like 3 extra gold left over. I don't know. It's a mobile game. I would imagine a lot of players will probably be very, very content with just their 2 free booster packs a day. Now, these packs are also 5 cards per pack, which if you're opening American packs, you're probably used to 10, plus that code card. That doesn't work. In this case, these are more similar to Japanese packs. Japanese packs are 5 cards. They've always been 5 cards, unless it's like a special pack. But personal opinion, I'm actually really happy with the price. I kind of thought packs would be closer to the $2 to $2.50 range. In America right now, a booster pack is $5, and that's 10 cards. So this is $1.20 for half that, which you could argue one is digital, one is physical. Totally have that argument, but that's in my head. I was just like, well, half the cards, half the price. So a digital booster pack is probably going to be $2.50, but I think $1.20 is not bad for a booster pack. You guys might have different opinions, and you can comment below if you think that's reasonable or not, I suppose. All right, number 3. This was asked to the developers. There was a Q&A session after we played the game. We got, I think, like 30 minutes to ask them different questions. So this is directly from the developers. We asked if there was any plans for a PC version of the game or a Switch version of the game, and the answer was no plans to make a PC or Switch version at all. A tablet was brought up, whether that's like a Google tablet or a iPad. They kind of gave the answer of like, well, any phone game can technically run on those. It would just be upscaled, kind of like the Instagram app. So it didn't seem like there was any plans for like a native iPad version, but they definitely did not seem, the Switch thing was like, yeah, no plans for Switch. So I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Number 4 that you should know about TCG Pocket is the battle system. I could spend 20 minutes probably explaining how the current Pokemon trading card game works. I'm going to simplify this and just assume that everyone knows the basics. But there is a battle system in the game. I know the game has been advertised mostly collection. And to be fair, the developers did say that this is a collection-based game at its core. But there is a pretty cool battle system, in my opinion, to this. So in the normal version of the Pokemon trading card game, whether you're playing the online app or in person or with your friends or with your grandma, that's going to be a 60-card deck. And it's going to be 6 prizes. And if you take the 6 prizes, you win. Or the other rules of winning, knocking out your Pokemon, all the Pokemon, or they don't have any cards in their deck. But 6 prizes, 60 cards. And then in the deck, you're allowed to have 4 of each card, except for energy and except for A-spec cards. So if you wanted like 4 Pokemon catchers, 4 bosses orders, 4 Venusaur EXs, that would be the limit. You can't have 5 of a card. The difference here for Pocket is they're 20 card decks, not 60, and you can only have 2 of each card in a deck. So only 2 Venusaurs, 2 Bulbasaurs, etc. On top of that, there are no prizes. You'd need 3 points to win. You get 1 point for knocking out a regular Pokemon, and you get 2 points for knocking out a Pokemon EX. Now to maybe make this more confusing or maybe more simple, 20 cards, not a lot of cards compared to 60, but the energy is not in your deck at all. The energy will be in a separate area in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, and you'll get 1 energy a turn to play onto your Pokemon. So this frees up your deck to just be trainer cards and Pokemon cards. You don't have to worry about energy at all, and it really simplifies it. Now you can have multiple types. So if you wanted like a fighting and darkness deck, the game would then randomize which energy you got each turn. Otherwise, if you just wanted like a pure grass deck, you would just only be getting grass energy each turn. So there is some strategy there still. This leads into number 5, which is still about the battle stuff. But the 5th thing you should probably know is there's not going to be any ranked mode at launch. And I have a quote here directly from the developers about because this question was asked. So there is no rewards ladder in the game. There is no ranked mode. Currently in the game that I played, you could battle your friends, you can battle some random person online, and you can battle the CPU. Those are the only 3 modes. So we asked about ranked, and their quote was, "It's something we have in the back of our minds for the future. We are aware that players would want a ranked mode, and we will keep this in mind." So I just want to give my opinion real quick on this. One, I do think ranked mode is coming, even though they don't say that. But I think this is really smart. I opened over 100 booster packs in my play session because the phone they handed us had like unlimited money on it. So I opened over 100 booster packs and I built 2 decks. I built a grass deck and I built an electric deck. And neither of those decks had any like the gold rare cards in it, just because I didn't pull any of those. I did pull like gold rare cards, just not electric or grass. I think it's probably intentional not to roll out a ranked mode because 1, they can save that for later and like advertise that as a big update. But 2, I think it alleviates pressure on players who would want a ranked mode or would want to like dabble in that, to be like, oh my gosh, I don't have any good cards. Everyone on ranked has good cards. I need to spend money. So I think it's a really good way to be like, everyone just take a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, build up your collection for free. It just gets rid of that pressure of like, oh, ranked is here. I need good cards. I need to spend money. There's also a limit of how many cards are in the game, right? I think the first set is about I think they said a little over 200 cards. So as more cards are added to the game, ideally when trading comes out, which we're going to talk about, it will be easier to build decks. And then by that time, if a ranked mode does come out, it won't feel, hopefully, it won't feel like you need to spend money to play in ranked. So that's just my opinion. I think the shorter, smaller battle stuff is really great. I had such a good time playing it. I used to play the TCG competitively and go to tournaments. And I absolutely adored this like simplified mode. It's simpler, but also sometimes you just don't want like a 45-minute TCG match, and like having a 5 or 6 minute match still scratches that itch. I loved it. I think the simplified battle mode is fantastic. Number 6, another thing about battling. For those that hopefully didn't tune anything out, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Let's say you don't like battling. There are tasks in the game, like in Pokemon Go, walk 2 kilometers, catch 10 Pokemon, spin 3 stops. There are daily tasks in this game, and some of them are battle focused, like win a battle or play 3 matches. If you don't like battling at all, there is an auto battle in this game. Now, I want to remind you that this game is being made by DeNA, which makes Pokemon Masters EX, and there's auto battling in that game. So you can just auto battle to get your daily tasks done and still get your rewards. And I will say that the auto battling is actually really great. I set up 3 scenarios. First scenario was have it auto battle from the start, and it ended up winning. And I watched it, and it made the logical moves. Like, oh yeah, this is where I would have placed the energy. This is the Pokemon I would have promoted. This is the attack I would have done. I played half a match, and then I turned on auto battle to see if they could finish the match and win, and they were able to. And then I did the same thing. I played half a match, but I misplayed. I know people are like, I put the computer in a losing scenario to see if they could adjust and fix it. And they did. They did play the Pokemon that should have been played and like retreated and promoted it. And I think, to be fair, I think the only reason the computer ended up winning that match was because the opponent computer flipped tails multiple times in a row. But regardless, the point I was trying to see is, can they correct bad behavior? And what if you auto battle halfway through? Would that still be okay? And it was great. I'm not saying that auto battle will like always make you win, because there's still RNG in Pokemon games, but it's a super great feature for somebody who might be on the fence for battling, and the simplified mode plus the auto battle, I think, is a really smart way to get people to play the game more outside of the collecting the cards. Speaking about trading, I think this is number 7. There will be no trading at launch. The trading button in the app was grayed out, and we were specifically told that the developers probably weren't going to answer a lot of questions about trading. So unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you exactly how it works. I am telling you that it won't be available. What I can say is I asked them a specific question, which is, I think we're still in number 7, which was, okay, wait, two things. Sorry, I'm getting excited. The question was asked, which I'm surprised they let us ask it. The question was asked, like, does trading only work locally? And they specifically said trading will not be local only. And that's the most they said about that. So that's good. I think a lot of people, including myself, thought, this is going to be like Pokemon Go. I'm going to have to stand next to the person. I'm going to have to trade. Now, we have no details of what that exactly means. Maybe speculation from me. Maybe it's locally you can trade as much as you want, but if you wanted to trade a friend online, maybe you're limited to like once a day or something like that. But that's just speculation. No clue how it actually works. What I will say is I asked them a question, which was, if I traded somebody, assuming I went into this assuming that it was local only. So if I went to Japan, which I actually was just in Japan yesterday, and now I'm in Indonesia. So if the game was out, I could have, if the game was out and trading worked, I could have put this situation to a test. But if I was in Japan and I traded somebody my Charizard, and they also had a Charizard, so I would trade them my English Charizard for their Japanese Charizard, because they're playing their game in Japanese, would that Charizard still be Japanese when it got to me? And their answer was yes. And they actually seemed like genuinely excited when I asked that question. Ultimately, if you're a collector, you can collect all the English cards, and then you could start collecting the Japanese cards, the Korean cards, the Italian cards, the Portuguese cards, and you could have multiple sets of different languages if you wanted to. They also went on to say, I didn't even ask this, they just expanded on it. They also said that if I had like a Korean Mewtwo in my deck when I'm playing online or against a friend, it will change to my native language for that battle. And then after the battle, it would change back to the Korean Mewtwo that would be in my collection. So super, super cool. Probably like the thing I would have been most excited about, because I personally like collecting cards from other regions. Like I want a Japanese Cramorant, I want an English Cramorant, I want an Italian Cramorant. Probably the coolest answer they gave us was, yes, you will be able to collect cards from different languages, ideally once trading actually shows up. Number 8, I'm actually going to go back to the battling. I didn't talk about this, but the battling stuff, I just didn't want to bore people with a bunch of battling, so that's why I put the trading in there. But I think the battling is so cool. So number 8, I think we're on. Battle-wise, cards are slightly different. What I mean by that is when the Pokemon Trading Card Game initially launched, some of those cards that debuted still work today. For example, Switch. Switch is just switch the active Pokemon with a bench Pokemon. You could have a Switch from 1999 in your deck today because that rule of that card has never changed. It's been exactly the same. Now, of course, some cards over the years have changed, like Pokemon Catcher used to just be a card you play, and then after Black and White, I believe they changed it to you need to now flip a coin, and then if heads, you can actually play that card. So some cards have changed, but cards like Pokemon Switch have not changed. In Pocket, some cards may seem familiar, but have been changed. An example is Pokeball. Pokeball has been around since 1998. Flip a coin, if heads, search in your deck for any Pokemon, and then put it into your hand. In this, they do have the Pokeball card, but it is just play it. It will find a random Pokemon in your deck and put it in your hand. And I played probably 12 to 15 battles with multiple decks. There is an auto build, auto configure wizard deck thing, and then you can go in, you can customize it, or you can build a deck from scratch. And to be fair, there's only 200 and some cards, and I didn't have every single card in the game. But it really seemed like there was no deck search at all that wasn't automated. So what I mean by that is if you've watched or played competitive Pokemon TCG, you will probably notice that there's a lot of deck searching. There's a lot of going into your deck, looking for a specific card, going back into your deck, looking for your card. There's a lot of shuffling. It takes a lot of time in Pokemon. It really made it seem like these supporters and these trainer cards are kind of cutting out that for you and just going into your small 20 card deck and doing that for yourself. For example, Pokeball, it's just going to go into your deck. It's just going to find you a Pokemon. That makes games ultimately quicker and cuts down, simplifies it, of course, but cuts down that like deck search. To be fair, you only have 20 cards anyways. I haven't seen a lot of supporter and trainer cards, but some of them have changed. Like Professor Oak in Pocket is only draw 2 cards instead of it's either 6 or 7 in the main game. But I did ask them the question of like why these iconic cards have like slightly changed, and ultimately they said because this is a totally different game, but they wanted to make sure that whatever that card was doing in the main game, it still captured the essence of what it's going to do in Pocket. So obviously Pokeball is search, Professor Oak is draw. So they're still accomplishing that. So I think that's fine. It's definitely simple, but you might see iconic cards be slightly changed for this game mode. Number 9, really easy. There's frame rate settings and there's graphical settings. So this is probably going to apply to people who have newer phones or older phones or 2-year-old phones. I want to bring this up specifically because I've heard from people that Pokemon Masters EX doesn't run specifically great, or some phones can't even run Masters EX altogether. So there is a toggle for 30 FPS, 60 FPS. There are also toggles for high frame rate, high performance, high graphical settings. There was a couple, or maybe there was one of those was in between, but there was like ugly good, beautiful settings that you can toggle. So if you're concerned of like, oh, I don't know if my phone will be able to run this game, I can tell you at least there's settings that you can toggle to hopefully make it run better, especially if you're using an older device. And then number 10, the 10th thing you should know about for TCG Pocket is Wonder Picks. To be fair, I'm very excited about collecting. I'm very excited about battling. This was the thing that other people were excited for, but I'm indifferent about. The easiest way I can explain what Wonder Picks is if you've ever played any of the recent Pokemon games with like Surprise Trade or Wonder Trade, it's ultimately that. What's going to happen is every day you're going to see a random opened booster pack of 5 different cards. And if you choose to interact with it, it's going to shuffle those 5 cards. You're going to pick one of them face down and you're going to get that card. So ideally, if there's one of those 5 cards you don't have, you have a 20% chance of getting a new card for your collection. And I don't know how often Wonder Picks refreshes. It made it seem like it was something you could do like once a day. Like again, the easiest way I can explain it is just a free bonus card that you can randomly get in a period of time that has like a little animation. I think the main appeal to this is, one, for people who like don't have anyone to trade with, and 2, it's another reason to come back to the app. So you would come back to the app to open your booster pack every 12 hours. You would come back to the app to do a couple battles. You would come back to the app to check your Wonder Trade. And maybe you would come back to the app to check your friends list or to initiate a trade when trading was added. So I think that's the main goal of it, is just another thing to interact with to get you to open the app. There you go. Those are 10 things that you should know about TCG Pocket. Hopefully the audio sounds good. This is my second time recording it because the first time I recorded it, the audio sounded bad. And if you're watching this after September 23rd, there should be an hour-long podcast where I talk more in depth about the game, which, well, I don't know. This is YouTube, so it'll appear somewhere on the screen that you can click on and watch. But thank you for making it to the end. Thanks for watching. If you're excited about Pocket, let me know what you're excited about in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.